All right, hello wine drinking people. We are back with more of what I drank yesterday, and we got Elan from Premier, and we're just going to go right into Fabian from TGIC because there's only two wines here with Elan, but some good stuff. Sequana Pinot Noir, Sundawg Ridge from Green Valley, an appellation of the Russian River Valley or Sonoma, and black raspberry-like fruit here on the nose, hints of exotic spice, some floral notes, nutmeg, cinnamon, bacon fat, a little smoke there. Good amount of that black raspberry fruit and a heavy hand of spice on the tongue with a tongue-tingly acidity. Really nice balance here. This is a really nice Pinot Noir, a little savory edge to the finish, and nice spice there as well. Excellent juice. $60, maybe just a tinge expensive, but excellent juice nonetheless. Caparzo Brunello de Montalcino, 2006. This is a great vintage for Brunello, man. You can close your eyes and point and get great wines in 2006. One of the best values I've had in the store, $48.50. A lot of great Brunello under $50 still available. Somewhat reserve bouquet. Starting to open up nicely, though, as we swirl this wine around the glass. Some spice and black tar-like nuance, black cherry and raspberry fruit on the nose. Really nuanced, traditional style of Brunello with a little porcini note in there as well. Really classic on the palate, that tart red cherry fruit. Firm tannins, really evident still here. You know, a nice dose of acidity as well. And a nice hint of that spice showing through on the finish. This wine needs time, but excellent juice. All right, Fabian from TGIC, thank God it's Chilean, was in. Montes being one of the cornerstones of their portfolio, one of the greatest producers in Chile. And these guys have some Spanish wine also. We started out with Castillo de Monseran, Viura, Carinena. This is kind of a little bit oxidized, the fruit in this wine, and honey, kind of apricot there showing on the nose, a co-op, and dry white at a cheap price. A little bit of freshness still showing up in this wine, but like I said, if you like oxidized whites, maybe that's for you. Okay, Santa Ema Sauvignon Blanc, a nice fresh wine, a little green asparagus note to the melon and white grapefruit citrus on the nose, a good amount of that grapefruit citrusy fruit showing up on the tongue there, tropical passion fruits, and a little bit of that varietal green grass and asparagus on the finish you get from Sauvignon Blanc, that leaves the tongue salivating for food, one of the things we love about Sauvignon. A good wine for $10. Castillo de Monseran Garnacha. Carinena is the region where this is from, and 50 to 80-year-old vines here. It's aged for 6 months in American oak, and Carinena, as I mentioned before, the DO from the Aragon region, about 150 miles southeast of Ribeira del Duero, one of the first DOs classified in the 1930s. Okay, well, some nice sweet oak spice there showing from the American oak, notes of tobacco and kind of red berry pie-like fruits. That is Garnacha to me, and some cocoa and spice there with some hints of dry meat as well on the finish. Some nice minerality, but just a little bit dry on the finish and soft. And this Garnacha they do for $8 to me is better than the $14 one from them. But Achaval Ferrer, one of the great producers of Mendoza, up next. This is their 2010 Malbec, and this is sourced in the same areas pretty much in Mendoza every year, 40 to 60-year-old vines, 10 months in French oak, and about a 10,000 case production here. To me, one of the best wines in that $25 to $30 price range coming from Mendoza. And this wine's still a little young. 2010 has only been released because of the demand for this wine. One of the hottest brands coming from Mendoza. One of the hottest brands in South Florida, probably the rest of the country as well. Really intensely flavored wine. Lots of blackberry and black raspberry-like fruit, zesty acidity, a host of floral and herbal notes through the finish. This wine, like I said, needs a little time to open up. Still young, but has all the right stuff here. Really good. All right, Pascual Toso Malbec Reserva Alta, which means higher. And that's what Paul Hobbs said about the fruit in this part of the vineyard at Pascual Toso. He said, Alta. It's better than everything else. So that's why they started making this wine from the Las Barrancas vineyard. And 40 to 60-year-old vines, so older vines go into this. More time in oak. And as I mentioned before, Alta, higher selection here. Quite a bit of oak on the nose, toasty, kind of campfire-y oak nuance there. Pretty violet floral aromas as well to that blackberry jam-like fruit. Hints of dark cocoa and mint as well. A big and chewy wine on the palate here. Lots of everything. Jammy blackberry fruit and oak spice. Fresh plowed black earth and firm underbelly of acidity holding things in place here. Excellent juice at $35. All right, the Norton Privada. And this is a wine that's the private selection for the family, or that's how it started out. That's the name Privada. Malbec, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon blend. and really nice thick black plum and black cherry fruit on the nose there. Notes of fresh earth and light smoke and tobacco spice. A fairly complex bouquet here. Smooth and polished on the palate. This 2008 vintage wine with layers of currant and cherry fruit with graphite minerality, toasty oak. Really nicely balanced wine. Still quite young and tannic on the finish. Excellent juice. The Montes Star Angel from Paso, Robles. This is Montes' domestic label. Black plum and black cherry fruit with some toasty oak. Again, that burnt campfire wood kind of note showing. Dark cocoa nuance. Only 2,000 cases of this wine made. That lovely dark jammy fruit showing on the palate. Nice hand of spice, but still nice freshness here, that European touch. A bit tannic on the finish. A really good little wine. And then, man, I'll sit through a lot of wines to get through a wine like Montes Folley, one of the great Syrahs made in the world. Definitely the best Syrah I've ever had from Chile, from Alta Valley. This wine is big and jammy on the nose with a cornucopia of black plum and dark berry fruit, dark chocolate, soy, espresso, exotic spices, sweet tobacco, fresh earth. Big and chewy with ripe and round edges, though really smooth and silky texture. A host of spice and nuance echoing from the nose through the finish. This is most excellent juice here. It's $87.75. Only a few hundred cases produced. All right, next up, we've got one of the old guards of the Alexander Valley Vineyards.